back down with Revolution Automotive, Liam, today. A lot's changed since the last time we made a video. A lot. So the wrecker engine that we dropped to Liam last time was just, it wasn't in the best of shape. So we've had to redirect our energy and we've put it all into the race engine. So it's going to be the engine that'll go straight into the car, and that's part of the reason why we're here at the moment. So once it's back from getting all the machine work done, Liam's going to be getting stuck into getting it all assembled. Yep. Getting it back to where it needs to be so it can go into the engine bay. I'm pretty excited because we've gone for, you know, forged pistons, rods, yep. Main studs, yep. And Revolution Automotive's head studs as well.
Yes, yeah.
So it's going to be a tough little package, which is good. So it'll be a good thing to test out as well. So make sure that we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah.
We've also had a number of really awesome sponsors come on board with this project as well. So one of those being GCG Turbochargers. There's been a post that I did earlier this week in regards to, you know, the products that they've sent us. So we're going with a G35 900 turbocharger. Yep. From all accounts and all the feedback that we've got, that's going to be the best turbocharger to suit the package and the power goal that we have as well. And
choice, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And there's some other sponsors as well in the pipeline that we're working with and working on. So I'm really excited to see the project starting to develop and gain some traction, and appreciate all the feedback and all the stuff that people have, you know, been giving their, I guess, 2 bobs worth, yeah. Which is really helpful.
And constructive criticism here and there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly. So I have gone and put in an EPAS power steering system, which I'm really excited to get to use and learn it. So it's going to give the car a little bit of a different feel, and it's got some adjustability as well. So there's been heaps of work going into the car over the last couple of weeks just to try and tidy it up and I guess safeten some of the systems on the car, so that way they've got a little bit of longevity. You know, I've started sorting out some of the dry sump system, all the fluid management, which, you know, we've obviously had kindly donated by Raceworks, so all of their lines, AN fittings, and yeah, basically we're re-hosing the whole car. So there's just heaps of work that's going into it, that has been going into it, and there's still a whole heap of work to go. But this is Liam's first look at the car, and we're just sort of talking about, you know, what the direction is, you know, what the next stages are. As Liam's probably figured out, I love a good spreadsheet, and I've got everything itemised and a calendar basically built into the spreadsheet of when we need to have certain things done by, because I think today's the first day of March, of 25. So we've got, although the main goal is World Time Attack, you know, at the end of the year or towards the end of the year in September, I can see that just over the hill. Like, it's pretty close. Getting close. Considering the work that's got to go into it. And yeah, I just want to make sure that we've got, you know, all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed, because I want to deliver a strong, reliable package that we can just go there, enjoy the experience that World Time Attack is. So our inquiry of interest went in during the week, so yeah, I'm really excited to hear back about that, and yeah, fingers crossed that we get accepted. But yeah, look, really enjoying the journey so far, and all the support, and even Liam, you know, like I reckon our wives probably think, you know, there's something going on there, but we're continually, you know, conversing throughout the day. There's constant messages between us, you know, in regards to what's next and what's coming up, and different plans of attack. So there's just a heap of thought, a heap of ideas going into this car, and you know, I want it to be something that people can, you know, aspire, because it's really easy to buy one of these shells, chuck a 6G in it, which is what you're doing at the moment. Yep. In a Lancer, which we will. I think we should really do a bit of a feature on that. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, hopefully we can get something done in the next week or two. It'll be buttoned up, ready to go.
That's awesome.
But we'll see how long it lasts. I mean, it's a big engine in a little car. Yep. So I dare say we're going to be fighting some traction issues and steering issues potentially. Yep. But I mean, hopefully we can clean all that up and bring it as a I guess, a support to what you can do to the car, not just what we can do here.
Yeah.
As a, essentially a full-blown race car.
Yep.
We can show that you can take it to the street and you can go roll racing or Wednesday night drags or Tuesday night track night.
Yep.
Whatever you might fancy.
And drive it to work during the week.
With the AC cranked up and stay nice and chill.
It's a big block in a small car. Like it's a, I'm really excited to sort of start getting stuck into this a little bit more with Liam's help. And, I've got a box of parts here that we'll go through. And then until the engine arrives, there's a little bit of preparation to get it ready so that the engine can be assembled and then put into the car. But it'll be basically a bit of preparation to the chassis, making sure all the rest of the fuel lines are ready to go. And and then it's on to fabrication from there. Yep. And then it goes to Queensland up to Yates Auto Electrical, who have kindly come on board as well to do the Motorsport harness. So I'm in consultation with them quite regularly throughout the week, and just in regards to development. So it's pretty exciting to see the electrical system that's going to go into this car to support the Haltech stuff. The things that I didn't even know were possible as a mechanic, I'm really excited to give them a go in this. So yeah, really excited for the next changes, and I appreciate Liam's help. He's been a good pillar of support, trust me. Cool. So this is the box of goodies that I'm dropping off with it. O2 sensor, there's all the Bosch Motorsport sensors supplied by Haltech, and then also the NOx sensor. My only thing is obviously when it goes to have the harness made up, that's going to be in the valley somewhere. That's a spare belt for the dry sump that I had in there. There's a bunch of bolts, nuts, screws, all that sort of stuff there from the dash being out. So I just brought them down because I'll once I've properly flocked the dash. Yesterday's attempt was pretty poor, which I'll show you in here in the video. But it was a pretty bad attempt at flocking the dash, that's for sure. There's a bunch of silicon vacuum hose here. Gearbox. So it's got a Quaife LSD in it, and it is 411 final drive as well. So which feels really good on the track. The LSD I've found wasn't too tight and wasn't too loose as well, which was a good thing. And it seemed to handle really, really well. So
Quaife's always been my go-to when it comes to LSDs. You can get a CAS LSD, which is the RS, which you can obviously re-shim if you need to or whatever, which is good in some aspect, but I think something like this, I don't really think it's the right thing. You're gonna get a lot of lift oversteer, which in some aspect, people are like, you like it, but just being the shorter wheelbase of the car and all that sort of stuff, I don't know that too much lift oversteer is exactly what you want, and that CAS 1.5 weight can really induce it quite bad. So they're a really good diff still, but yeah, Quaife would be my pick, 110%.
We'll go and have a quick chat around the car. So basically, starting from the front to the back, there's a bit of tidying up that needs to be done. It needs a good pressure wash in here again, and maybe a bit of a scourer, and just tidy up a few little bits of the things that get seen, I guess, just so that it presents well. Where, as I said, I've done some of the fuel system, so the return there is sorted out, and which is our old supply line from the hard line from the tank back to here, and then our slosh tank as well for our dry sump setup. The Bosch sensors in for fuel pressure, fuel temperature as well. The bulkheads are in there for the dry sump fittings, and then also the Motorsport connection for the wiring harness. And we've also got a B positive there, which is up on the firewall as well, like a stud there, the pass through, so that way power from from the engine bay, but also back as well is good. Since we've gone to an EPAS system, so electronic power assisted, we've gone away from the electronic over hydraulic power assisted steering system, so we won't need these hydraulic lines. So this is going to get changed out in place of a manual steering rack. So the Mirage in Australia came with an optional power steering, and then with a manual rack. So for ease of and simplicity to eliminate that power steering rack, we're going to put in a manual one. And then obviously once the engine's in, I'm going to get some heat shielding sort of shaped up for, clutch reservoir, brake reservoir. This oil filter relocation will get moved, likely to be close to the oil cooler. Might try and bundle it up as one package with a few different brackets. But yeah, so there's a fair bit of fab work to go into this little engine bay, which will be, turbo manifolds, dump pipe, intercooler piping. Obviously not a lot of real estate. But it should work out all right. Been a fair bit of talk in my own head of late about brakes. So this is running the 380 brakes, and it's had some cut and shut lower control arms. And as you said, they look like they've been done relatively well, and we'll test that out, and we'll make sure that they're going to suit their purpose. But the brakes is one of the things that I'm sort of looking at now, whether I go for a Brembo caliper with a 320 or 330 mil.
I think they're 340.
Yeah, right.
So you can get a 340 mil disc, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Into the car, which even on the way down here, I was getting messages about the e-pass system and people asking me about it and how it went fitting it in. I've done a few posts on Instagram, etc., with some photos and whatnot, but the e-pass system sits in there quite nicely, and when you're sitting in there, it's not really intrusive. Like, it's not bulky, and you don't feel like you're going to get your feet caught up on it, anything, because your feet are going to be sitting forward past that position anyway. But bracket was made up off the original OEM mounting, so it's still using the OEM mounting. And then basically it was sort of caged in, and then he's run the tube through. So a local guy up in Mudgee did it for me, did all the fab sort of side of it. And then he's also been able to run the steering quickener in there as well, which is pretty cool. And it's a 2-to-1 with the uni joints. We had a bit of a play with the uni joint angles just to try and get them right, so that way it didn't feel like it was binding up, and it feels heaps better now. We've hooked up power to the module, and it's giving really good assistance. It'll have a thumb wheel dial as well, which will then obviously dial the assistance up and the assistance down, which will probably be a good thing because time attack's a long weekend. and I'm sure I'll get tired as a driver over that period, so I'll need as much assistance as I can. So I'll probably have it screwed all the way up by the end of the weekend. Looking at replacing that shifter as well for an alloy unit, just to try and make it a little bit more rigid, and look at potentially putting getting some bushes made up that are solid as well. So just to give that shifter a good feel and try and prevent it missing any gears and etc. The seat's going to get changed out, so it'll go to a full wing seat. As I mentioned before, there's some seats that I've used in the past that I really like that I'm considering going with. Rear brakes, I don't really see a huge need to change those. When I drove it, really to get heat into the rear tyre and the rear brake was a challenge, and I found that obviously you wanted your grippier tyres on the front, but we're finding that just trying to get the heat into the rear tyre was a challenge because the car's so light and front wheel drive. So getting those tyres up to temp, it may change obviously with the additional aero that we're going to put on and some suspension setup that we've got in mind, but the plan is to just keep those rear brakes the way they are at the moment. Yeah,
just a decent set of pads and rotors, something just to, not so much to make the braking feel better, it's more just to withstand. Because after 10 laps, as much as they're a bit harder to warm up, they will eventually warm up, and they more than likely will get hot. So that it will just need that something just to withstand that little bit of heat that
100%.
that it might bring.
As I mentioned, the surge tank is pretty much where it needs to be. There's some pass-throughs there with grommets and everything in them. We've got the flex sensor is mounted, also the fuel filter as well. So the fuel filter there is on the supply side, so if it picks up any shit, it's not going to deliver shit fuel up to the engine. Dry sump tanks in, fair bit of work to get this to, obviously reposition it. It used to sit sort of in this front portion here, up underneath the dash, and then it had some pass-throughs out the other side of the box to meet up with the bulkheads. But I've just tried to neaten the flow of the lines, etc. up a little bit. These will probably need some riv nuts in the floor just to maybe hold them in position. And I'll get some more of these seg ties, so we could probably seg them back here.
Yep.
I've kept all of the olives loose at the moment, just so that I could get the orientation and clocking of the hoses right. The tank's cleaned out. You know, it's got these
I really like what you've done there.
Quick release buttons on it at the moment. It's a little bit better if you've got two hands, but you can pull it off.
Yeah,
check
right.
your oil level. Some of those welds there need a little bit of maybe some DevCon around them. Look, I had those touched up by a local bloke, and I had one of the young guys from work, and I said, "Oh, could you just maybe give those welds just a bit of a flatten out, you know?" And he flattened them out too much. And unfortunately, with alloy and thin alloy like this, you don't get the penetration.
No.
And when you're trying to clean up your welds, which some apprentices are professionals at, you can go a little bit too deep and you can see some sky through there. So we're just going to get those sealed up a little bit better. But at the moment, this is working. It's functional. Its form might be a little bit off, but it works and it does what it needs to. So it's going to seal the dry sump tank, and then we're back around the front again to the slosh tank, which that's where I mounted it last time. Give that bracket a bit of a straighten up.
Yep. Nobody's sorry.
Yeah, so that was in there from the last time I went to Oz Time Attack, because previously it had an upside down Coke bottle jammed behind the wheel arch, basically, as its slosh tank, which I wasn't really excited about. And there was I think there's some pictures on our Instagram page that like the dry sump tank wasn't bolted into that housing. It was just sort of like flopping around in there and fixed and sorted out. So there's all this progress, but also fixing up things on the way through. So, and then it'll be on to, as we said, wiring harness, and then it's going to go, and then it's going to come back down here, and then there's going to be a bit of aero development. So I'm in consultation with a few guys about that at the moment, chatting to them about a front splitter design, and then potentially some side skirts just to keep that air away. And obviously I've got a rear wing that'll go on it as well, and then I need some brackets made up to suit that, which will be a swan neck style. So from the research that I've done and the little that I know about aero, swan necks are quite a good design feature for rear wing aero. So it's exciting. I'm really pumped now. Like I'm really starting to feel it.
The heat is on.
It is.
Yep. I feel like that's the exciting bit about it.
Yeah.
The stress and the anxiety is what makes you want to go and do everything
100%.
and makes you want to finish it tomorrow and just go thrash it. But it's like it's a slow process that takes time.
It does. It does. Yep.
It will be a good process that obviously we'll have lots of information and videos on.
Yep. Let's get it off the trailer.
Good idea.
So the car's in its final resting place for a little while, so it'll stay here for the next little while. I'm not sure where it is at on the calendar, but
it's probably up there with the first things to do.
Yep.
I think Monday morning it'll be going through and just seeing what I can attack at.
Yeah, perfect.
Pretty much from day dot, I guess, because we need to not get a wriggle on, but we need to start making things happen.
Yeah, certainly. Liam has invited. I'll skip that one out of it.
I have brought on some extra help.
He's brought on some extra manpower. It sounds like a boy band or something like that, manpower. But it's some extra help, with getting things up to speed. getting it to where it needs to be before it then goes off for fabrication, and because there's a bit of work and some logistics as well. So it'll obviously go for fabrication, and then it's got to go to Queensland, come back for tuning, and then testing, and then all the other stuff. So we've got a pretty tight schedule. So we've got some extra help, which is really awesome. Yeah, so I really appreciate the help, mate, and coming on board. And having car guys that know their craft, mechanics, and just want to get in and have a go is a really good thing.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for your help, guys.
Well, it's still a way to go.
We haven't started yet.
Oh no, don't get too excited. But I've already had to bring on more help because I'm already starting to panic. I'm sweating. I could feel you coming. I was sweating. I'm like, oh, I need to bring reinforcements.
We pushed it back probably 2 or 3 Saturdays, I think, and we went, oh, not this Saturday, and we had other commitments and just stuff going on, work and whatever. But we went, no, look, we can't do it any later than this weekend. Made it happen. So it's down here now for the next stage, and I'll leave it in your capable hands. Yeah,
but it was good to. I mean, I think it was the first time we pushed it back. I think I said to Lily, I was like, mate, I know you enjoyed World Time Attack last year. I said, I think you should come and do it. And before I even finished saying, he's like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's good.
He's like, I'll do it. I don't care what it is, I'll do it.
Yep.
I think you said, you've always wanted to do something like that, which is
could have been a Citroen. You wouldn't have even. He might not have even known. Like
being there, experiencing it, working on some stuff. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So awesome. I'll leave it with you. I'll be back down in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.